There are 2 times of year when I tend to get reflective and contemplative about things that I've learned, what I wanna learn, what kind of person I wanna be, and that's the New Year and my birthday month, Taurus season, which we are in. And so today I wanted to just share a couple of the mindset shifts that I've had recently, like, I would say in my 30s, that have really changed my life, not just my life as a business owner, as a content creator, but as a human being. And hopefully, no matter the season of life or business that you're in, they will, they'll help you as well. Okay, so the first one I've been talking about a lot, especially with my entrepreneur friends, is this idea of get to versus have to. I had a big, reckoning with this, a big download of this when I was in Austin just a month or so ago, shooting my first documentary. And we just had like a really fun night. We went out with the crew and the cast and sang karaoke. And then me and my co-producer were just like walking the streets of Austin late at night, just like, going to the store. And like, I don't know, it just was like, it felt like summer camp to me. You know what I mean? And it felt like kind of one of those moments that you don't experience very much in your 30s or when you're in your, full adult years. It gave me like college vibes or summer camp vibes. And I was like, this is so cool that I get to create this kind of culture in my work, that I get to create these relationships, that I get to like shoot a documentary, which I'm just so fortunate to have the resources, the time, the creative drive and energy, the connections to be able to do, And don't get me wrong, there are parts of my work, parts of my life that are not fun, that usually I'm not vlogging and showing you all. But even parts of that project, the documentary project, that have been hard, that have been stressful, that have been expensive and annoying. But it's like you can wake up every day and you can say, oh, I have to get on this discovery call. Or you can say, I get to talk to this business owner in my community who I want to serve, I want to work with. I have to film a video today, or I get to talk to my community who is eager and excited to hear what little old me has to say. I have to travel for work. That's something that I've been doing a lot of over the past year is traveling a lot for, work, for love, for all the things. And it's like sometimes I can get down on it and be like, oh my gosh, I have to get on a flight this week if I want to do XYZ. And it's like, Latasha, remember the season of life. Remember the time when you were so excited to get on an airplane. I never even got on a plane until I was older, really. I didn't grow up traveling a lot. So just think about that. It doesn't mean you can't be stressed out from travel or you can't be stressed out by work or relationships or whatever, but just, try to have a little bit of a mindset shift on what you get to do versus what you have to do. Okay, the next thing that has been a big part of my life for the past few years is this idea of their example makes it possible for me. So, I think in the entrepreneurship space and in life in general, again, we can get down on ourselves because we are not like them, right? We do not have X, we do not have Y. We are not, reaching the same level of success as a friend that you might have, a neighbor who has a fancy car, or maybe who has a family that you want, or maybe has a career that you want, right? But I've really tried to reframe this into, wow, they have something that I want. That means that it's possible. That means that having that thing, attaining that thing, achieving that thing makes it possible. I'll give you some examples of this, definitely in business, right? If you see an entrepreneur, if you see a business doing something that you want to do, well, that means that there's a market for it. And that means that it is possible, assuming they don't have some massive, wild, weird leg up, which I don't know. Maybe they were born into a business and handed it down. Okay, sure. You can be a little salty about that, maybe. But assuming somebody else comes from relatively similar, life paths as you and has gone on to achieve success, like that means it's possible for you too. And I think that's something that I recommend if you find yourself struggling with jealousy. Don't look at entrepreneurs who have all the things that you don't, right? Who are maybe raised with a bunch of money or have like a very wealthy partner who's supporting their business. There's nothing wrong if you are one of those people. I admire you too. But I definitely try to look for entrepreneurs who, grew up like I did. I grew up single parent, not with any money, not with any connections, first in my family to graduate with a 4-year degree, right? So, like, try to find those people who you can relate to because their stories will make it possible for you. Similar, like, I've been following people who found love and got remarried after divorce. I've been following people who have had children later in life in their late 30s or 40s. Their examples make it possible. I don't have to be jealous of them. I just look to them for inspiration and motivation. Okay, the next one is a big one. A friend of mine said this to me as I was making a big life change over the past year. He said, this is your one life. And that really honestly pushed me over the edge of making a really hard, big, life altering decision and sticks with me today. Like, we only get one life. I mean, obviously, I knew that before he said that to me, but like, I don't know, just hearing it black and white like that, and especially about this big life change that I was making was really powerful for me. As far as we know, right? Like, you can have different spiritual beliefs, and I have my own theories and ideas and beliefs. But as far as we like scientifically know right now, this is the only time that we are going to be alive, at least in this, state, in this situation, this circumstance, right? This is the only time I will be in this body, in this town, in this chair. And I think it is just really powerful, when you are thinking about leaving situations that aren't right for you, whether that is a relationship, a marriage, a client situation, but also when it comes to trying new things. I have had a very YOLO, for lack of better words. I'm aging myself as a millennial by saying that, but a very YOLO type of year where I'm just like, I don't know. I have never been to this town. Let's go. Let's just try it. I don't know. I went to Alabama. I never wanted to go to Alabama. You know what? I loved Tuscaloosa. I had so much fun there. Like, I know that's like such a silly thing, but you just really never know what you are going to enjoy. And what you might learn from new experiences in friendships and relationships and travel in business, just throwing things at the wall a little bit more because I'm a big believer in, I don't really have many regrets, true regrets of things that I have done, people I've dated, uh, you know, places I've went, foods I've tried. I don't know, like I don't really regret having experienced those things. I do have regrets from not experiencing certain things. I regret like not living in the dorms when I was in college. I feel like that would have been a cool, life experience to have, even if it was just for a year. I regret I don't know, just missed opportunities, right? I don't think we should go too far to think too much into that either, though, because your life path is your life path, obviously. But I would rather try something, not like it, have it not work out, than be guessing or be sad potentially my whole life, not knowing what's on the other side of leaving a situation. Life is precious. And yeah, I'm young-ish, but I'm also not that young. I'm only 17 years younger than my father was when he passed away. That is mind-blowing. And obviously, hopefully that, I will live much longer than he did, but it is kind of crazy to think about, like, you know, life is precious. Okay, this one is a big one, and this one is like a big girl, put on your big girl pants one. And that is, my trauma is not my fault, but my healing is my responsibility. I think we can sometimes just kind of sulk about, let me just put it in the I don't know your life, and obviously there are varying levels of trauma and terrible things that happen, right? So I'm not trying to tell you to just pull yourself off by the bootstraps necessarily. But for me, like, sometimes, again, going back to the expander things, I'm like, I focus so much on what I don't have. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't, grow up with money and I'm having to, take care of myself. I've had to take care of myself for so long and I'm just exhausted and I'm tired and blah, blah, blah. And, I have this family history of addiction, and I lost my dad and I didn't have my dad because of that, and blah, 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 blah. And, you can just like spiral a little bit. And it's important to feel all those things, right? Have people that you can talk to, heal from those things. But it is not anybody else's responsibility to heal me from those things outside of maybe like my therapist because I'm paying them to help me through that. But even still, it's my work. Like it is me who has to do the work. My therapist can tell me, "Oh, you should think about this or you should try this or that," but I have to actually do it. And as an adult, it is my responsibility to do it. It is irresponsible, in my opinion, to, for example, enter a new relationship or, like start a family or even bring it back to my family of origin. All of this, I don't want to use the word baggage. I think that has a very negative connotation, but just all of this like negativity around things that is unprocessed, that is unhealed. I'm not saying that means that I shouldn't open up to a partner about my trauma, right? Of course, I shouldn't need support from a friend, a family member, a loved one from that. But it is your responsibility. It is my responsibility to come at things from a healed place or be working on my healing before inviting other people into that. And that's been a tough one, because I think when I was younger, I always thought like somebody would save me. That's what we get told, especially as women, I think that you're going to find this like prince and you're going to come from this, terrible upbringing. Not that my upbringing was terrible. I just want to clarify. Hi, mom, who always watches my podcast. But, that's what we always get told is, oh, little Cinderella, poor Cinderella, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, the prince just saves her and they live happily ever after. And it might be a relationship that you're thinking is going to save you. It might be a business that you think is going to save you, right? Oh, if I just leave this toxic day job, everything's going to get better. But what I found is that once I left that day job, that's actually when my healing started. Like entrepreneurship teaches you so much about your inner self and about your trauma and about your like toxic personality traits and all of that. So nothing is going to come and save you. I know that sucks. I wish it would. I wish, like, if only, right? If only my business could have saved me. If only some man could save me, that would be amazing. But that's just not how life works. And even if that was what happened, it really isn't fair to that other person or that, your clients or whatever. It's not fair to do that to them. So your healing really is your responsibility. And lastly, you are the captain. You are steering this ship. I was just talking about to a friend of mine who is very successful by all measures of the word. She makes a lot of money. She has a lot of followers. She always looks great and smart and cool on social media. And I was just saying, you are the captain. For the first few years in my 30s and really my late 20s as well, when I was really building my business and very, very career focused, I was very much operating on somebody else's measure of success. Like I was like, oh, I need to hit this revenue milestone, or I need to do this, I don't know, service, right? Just because I experienced it a lot when my courses started to really take off. There was like this kind of race to be fully passive, right? Everybody wanted fully passive courses and revenue streams. And I realized like I don't actually like the fully passive. I mean, don't get me wrong, having a little bit of passive income is just smart so that you always are making some money. But I really felt alive when I was live teaching, coaching people, working hands-on on a set, filming something. And I kind of like ran from those things, even though that's really how I wanted to be spending my time because, oh, I could be making more money on autopilot, by doing courses. And I did well at that, but it was not filling my cup necessarily on its own, right? I was really missing some of these harder things that I was doing. And I think a lot of us, especially in entrepreneurship, get hung up on that, right? Like you got to be on this platform, you got to be doing this, you got to be hitting this revenue milestone. It's like, I actually found a sweet spot for me in how much I really need to make and how much I like working it's less than my biggest revenue year. It is. And sometimes that's hard for me to kind of swallow and think about like, oh, maybe I'll never hit that huge, fancy, flashy revenue goal again. Maybe I will, but Am I happier? Do I know that I could do that again if I needed to? Abso-freaking-lutely. But I was kind of struggling when I was doing that, right? I was unhealthy. I was going through all kinds of like having autoimmune responses. I gained like 30 pounds. I wasn't moving. I wasn't spending time with people I loved. I wasn't taking care of myself. And that stuff is worth so much more. So you get to decide which direction you go. You get to decide if you are going after big revenue numbers, big milestones, or if you are focused on family and love and health, or, where your level of balance is. And that is just, again, I'm talking about business primarily, but that is true for anything in your life. You are the person who's deciding if your relationship is working out, if a friendship is toxic or not, if you, I don't know, are happy in the town that you're living in, if you need to downsize, right? You are the captain. Obviously, if you're in a marriage or in a family, you've got another person you have to think about, but even still, you are in charge of you, right? So make decisions for you, not based on what everybody else wants you to do. And I know I've shared this so many times, but taking a values assessment really changed my life when I first started working with my therapist. And I was just saying, like, I'm having a hard time making decisions about business, about my relationship, about everything in my life. I don't even know what I want or what is best for me. I don't even know who I am anymore. She told me to take a values assessment. And wow, it totally changed my life. I look at my top 5 values, health, creativity, inner peace. And I'm like, oh, if I am making decisions based on those metrics, not solely on, oh, how much money am I going to make or what does the other content creator or entrepreneur do? Those decisions end up feeling the best for me. When I make decisions based on somebody else's metrics, based on somebody else's values, somebody else's goals, it pretty much always feels bad. So hopefully that is something that will help you as well. I'll leave a link to the values assessment that I took. It's totally free down in the show notes. But that's it. I just wanted to share some kind of mindset shifts that I've had over the past few years that I think have been really helpful for me in just, becoming a happier person. I'm certainly not perfect. I certainly don't know it all. And I am certainly a work in progress, but hopefully they will help you as well. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you all so much. And you can subscribe to my YouTube, to the podcast, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you've had any mindset shifts or if any of these resonated with you. I would love to hear from you as always. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.